Imagine this. You wake up one morning with the strange feeling that your life is no longer your own. Every decision, every choice, every step you take feels like it has already been written, as if you are simply following a script that someone else designed. You try to change the order of things, wake up later, leave your house earlier, or avoid the path you normally take. But no matter how much you resist, everything somehow leads back to the same moment. The same face, the same place, the same ending. That is when you realize the truth. Your future was written before you ever lived it. But the question that keeps you awake at night is, who wrote it and why? What if I told you that in the shadows of unseen worlds, there are powers beyond imagination, forces of light and forces of darkness, watching, waiting, and weaving destinies. Among them, there is one name whispered with fear across centuries, one being said to know your weaknesses before you even discover them yourself. Lucifer, not just as a fallen figure of old stories, but as a mind sharper than any blade, a presence that moves quietly through the cracks of your life, setting traps before you even take your first step. If your future was a book, what if he already held the pen? Think about it. Have you ever had a moment where everything seemed too perfectly timed? You meet someone who changes your life in an instant, or you face a struggle that feels almost designed to break you. Was it coincidence? Or was it part of a plan written long ago? The unsettling thought is that maybe your failures and heartbreaks aren't just random accidents. Maybe they were arranged, pages placed in your story by a hand you never saw. Now, let me take you deeper into this thought. Imagine standing in a room filled with books, each one glowing faintly in the dark. Every book is a person's life, from their first breath to their last. Some shine brightly, full of victories, while others are heavy with shadows, marked with sorrow. As you walk past them, one book catches your eye. You pull it down, open the cover, and realize it's your story. Page after page reveals the choices you haven't made yet, the paths you haven't walked, the endings you haven't reached. But as your eyes scan the words, one detail shakes you to your core. At the very bottom of every page, written in bold ink, is a signature. And it is not yours. What would you do if you discovered that your future had already been signed by Lucifer himself? Would you fight against it, or would you fall into the story as it was written? The terrifying truth is that many people walk their entire lives without knowing who holds the pen. They believe they are free, but their steps are guided, their doubts planted, their dreams limited by a writer they never chose. And this is where our story begins. In the quiet moments of life, when you think no one is watching, that is where the real script is unfolding. But tonight, I'm going to show you what happens when someone dares to read ahead, when they glimpse the hand that has been writing their destiny all along. Because once you see the pages of your future, you cannot close the book again. And what lies ahead in this story will leave you questioning everything you thought was under your control. Tell me, would you dare to turn the page? You see, the real conflict begins when a person starts to notice the pattern. At first, it feels small, like a whisper in the back of the mind. You plan something and somehow it collapses in the exact way you feared. You chase a dream, but every door that should open stays locked. Then, at the very moment you are about to give up, an opportunity appears, too perfect, too sudden, as if someone placed it in your path. That's when the unease begins, because deep down you wonder if your choices are really yours at all. Are you living, or are you being led? For some, this awareness comes in moments of loss. A young man works tirelessly for years, only to fail in a way that feels cruelly precise, almost like a lesson scripted for him. A woman finds herself trapped in cycles of heartbreak, each relationship echoing the same painful ending, as if her story was designed to repeat itself. These aren't just coincidences, they feel like pages already written, pushing people toward the same outcome again and again. But what if those outcomes are not accidents of fate? What if they are traps designed to keep you questioning yourself, to weaken your will, to keep you from discovering who you truly are? This is the silent war most never see. The battle between what you want and what has been written for you. Some call it destiny. Others sense a darker hand behind it. And yet, the most chilling thought is this: you might not be the only one caught in this invisible script. Entire generations could be walking paths prepared long before they were born, their futures mapped out like pieces in a grand design. The question is, who benefits from the story ending this way? And why? As the days pass, the pull of the unseen script grows stronger, almost unbearable. You begin to sense that every step is part of a plan you didn't choose. The air around you feels heavy, as if someone is watching from just beyond the edge of your vision. You try to make random choices to break the pattern. Take a different road, speak words you hadn't planned, act against your own instincts. But somehow, even those rebellious moments lead you exactly where the story wants you to be. The thought that Lucifer might already know your next move becomes impossible to shake. The tension builds when dreams start blending into reality. You see faces in your sleep, strangers who later appear in your waking life. You hear words whispered in the night that echo in conversations the next day. These are not coincidences anymore. It feels like a chess game where every move you make has already been predicted, and no matter how clever you try to be, you are always one step behind. Then the signs grow darker. A letter arrives with no sender, carrying a warning you don't understand. A shadow lingers in the corner of your room, gone the moment you turn to face it. Even your closest friends begin acting strangely, saying things they shouldn't know about you, as if they've read pages from the same book. The world no longer feels solid, it feels like a stage, and you are the character performing lines someone else has written. And just when you think the pressure cannot get any heavier, you stumble upon a hidden page in the story. A secret so powerful it could change everything. But before you can grasp its meaning, the page seems to vanish, leaving you with a single chilling question. Was it meant for you to see, or meant to destroy you? You can't shake the image of that missing page. For days, it burns in your mind like a secret you were never supposed to touch. You replay the moment over and over, how it appeared so suddenly, glowing faintly as though it was calling you, and then slipped away as if the story itself had erased it. At first, you think it was just your imagination, but then small fragments begin to return in flashes. A single phrase, a symbol you don't recognize, and a warning written in words you can't forget. The phrase repeats in your mind like an echo. What you think is yours was never yours to begin with. The more you try to understand, the stranger your reality becomes. People around you begin speaking in riddles, almost as if they know something about your life that you don't. A stranger on the street locks eyes with you and whispers, "You shouldn't have seen it." A child points at you and says your name before you've even introduced yourself. These encounters feel like cracks in the world, hints that your future isn't just being written. It's being guarded, protected from you by something determined to keep you blind. That's when the second twist begins to unfold. You discover that you are not the only one aware of the script. There are others, people who've glimpsed fragments of their own stories, who've seen pages vanish or heard voices guiding them into places they never meant to go. Some claim to have fought against it, but their lives ended in ruin. Others say they surrendered, and in doing so gained success beyond their imagination. Both paths carry a price, and the question gnaws at you. Which one is waiting for you? The stakes rise higher when you begin noticing a pattern in these encounters. The people who resist the script always seem to disappear, leaving behind nothing but rumors and warnings. Those who follow it thrive for a while, but their eyes carry a hollow look, as if their souls are no longer their own. This realization leaves you standing at a dangerous crossroads. Do you resist and risk losing everything, or do you follow and risk losing yourself? And then, in the dead of night, you receive a final sign, a dream of a vast library, filled with books chained to the walls. You recognize your story among them. But this time, the pages are being rewritten in real time, and the hand holding the pen pauses, as if waiting for you to decide your next move. The ink drips slowly, like a clock counting down, and you realize that the story is no longer about what's already written. It's about what you will do when faced with the truth that your future has been claimed. You stand frozen in the library of endless books, your heartbeat echoing louder than the silence around you. The air is thick, heavy with the weight of choices yet to be made. Before you, your book glows brighter than the rest, trembling as if alive, while the pen hovers above the page, waiting. For the first time, you feel that the story isn't fixed. It is hanging by a thread, and that thread is yours to cut or tie. Every instinct inside you screams that this is the climax, the moment where everything is decided. You step closer, but as you reach for the book, the shadows in the room begin to stir. Figures rise from the corners, whispering in voices that sound like your own fears. They taunt you, reminding you of every failure, every wrong choice, every doubt. Their words echo, "You were never in control. You never will be." And then you see him, the one whose presence has haunted you through every unseen twist, Lucifer. Not as a monster, but as a figure calm and unshaken, standing by your book as if it always belonged to him. His voice is sharp yet soothing, telling you that fighting the script will only bring ruin, but surrender will bring peace. The offer is terrifying. Give up the pen, and you will live a life of ease and success, free of struggle, but never truly yours. Refuse, and the shadows will devour you, leaving nothing behind. The weight of the choice presses down like stone. In that instant, you understand the conflict was never about him writing your story. It was about whether you would ever dare to take the pen for yourself. Gathering what little strength remains, you reach out and grasp the pen. The shadows shriek, the library trembles, and your book bursts with light. For the first time, the ink flows from your own hand. You write a single line, "Your future belongs to you." The chains fall from the shelves, and the whispers fade into silence. But just when relief washes over you, the twist reveals itself. As you look at the page you've written, another line appears beneath your words, in a handwriting not your own. It reads, "Even this choice was part of the plan." And with that chilling truth, the library vanishes, leaving you awake, breathless, and uncertain if freedom was ever real, or if the script only wanted you to believe it was. You open your eyes to the silence of your room, the memory of the library still burning in your chest. For a long moment, you wonder if it was only a dream, but the weight of it is too real, too sharp to ignore. The words written on that final page echo inside you. Even this choice was part of the plan. At first, it feels like defeat, as though no matter what you do, you are still trapped in a story written by someone else. But as the days pass, something shifts within you. You begin to realize that maybe the power was never about erasing the script. It was about choosing how to live inside it. The faces you meet no longer feel like coincidences. The struggles you endure no longer feel like punishments. They are pages, yes, but pages you now read differently. You remember the others who surrendered, who lived lives that looked perfect on the surface but were hollow inside. And you remember those who fought, who disappeared from the story yet left behind whispers of freedom. Their paths weren't erased. They were warnings and guides for those who came after. You finally see that the real conflict was never about Lucifer's control, but about whether you would awaken to the truth of your own will. In that awareness comes peace. You still don't know how much of your life is written and how much is yours to write, but you know this: every choice you make carries weight. Every moment of courage pushes back against the shadows. And even if there is a larger plan, your voice still matters inside it. That is the secret no script can steal from you. So when you wake tomorrow, and the path before you feels already decided, remember this story. Remember that even if the future seems written, your response to it is where your freedom lies. The whispers may try to convince you otherwise, but your pen has touched the page, and nothing can erase that. In the end, the question is not whether your future is already written. The question is whether you will live it as a character, or as the author of your own story. And perhaps that is the truth that was meant to be discovered all along.